Welcome back to The Breakfast Show, where we are about to continue our week-long discussion on single parenting. Now, yesterday we spoke to two single parents, a mother raising 5 children, and a father whose problems with his estranged wife led him to looking after their son.
They shared various stories with us, with made us realize that support is a huge part of making single parenting work for both the parent and the child as well.
Yes, now extended family and friends, as we heard, play an important role. But what about other support groups? Do they exist in Malaysia, and how do they help?
Now, to answer those questions and more, we're pleased to bring back Ratna, the single father who spoke to us yesterday, and also founded an organization called PEMALIK. He's actually the co-founder, and Nicole Tan, president of SOROPTIMIST International Seremban.
Welcome to the show.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I think let's start with the single fathers, because we don't often hear a lot from many of you. I think today we'd like to ask, is there a social stigma towards single dads?
Sure, right? Single fathers have a social stigma not only in this country, it's internationally, right? People tend to look at a single father, in the eyes that he has not looked after his wife and hence been irresponsible, right? So they do not like an irresponsible person, so they kind of avoid having association with single fathers.
So you're kind of ostracized in that way.
Yes.
All right.
But traditionally, when a divorce happens, the custody of the children goes to the mother. There are rare cases that the father will get custody for for whatever reason.
Yes.
But when that does happen, what do you think the father is actually undertaking? What kind of responsibilities do they actually have to take on
Does it
now?
become more than when you were married?
In fact, it becomes less.
Oh.
Very much less, because usually when the court grants custody to the mother, the father does not get to spend much time with the children.
Right.
Which means that there is a lot of free time for the father. And also depending on fathers and how close they are to their children. So when the time comes for visitation, that's when the fathers spend all their time. It's usually alternate weekends.
Right.
They give it everything on their weekends.
What about these SOROPTIMISts? When you speak to these single moms, is there a lot of resentment? What is that? What are their thoughts on the other halves? They could have, well, of course, in some cases, some have actually passed on.
Yes.
But in other cases, there are, cases of divorce.
Yeah, in most divorce cases, I'm a lawyer actually. So there bound to be a lot of animosity.
Right.
And there are two sides of the story. So I actually given up hope to actually to listen. It's more like to solve their problem socially, economically.
Right.
As my duty as a SOROPTIMIST.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it's more about coexisting in the children's lives. Isn't that really it?
I mean, in some cases it is possible, like, in the case of Sharon, it became a very practical situation. However, there are, other cases, like in your case right now, where it's just not a solution to the problem at hand. So how do your individual groups support single parents? Let's just start with the SOROPTIMIST International.
Okay, let me just touch a bit on the social stigma.
Okay.
So, like, single mothers, they have a very bad social stigma in the sense that, they're being depicted as hubby snatchers.
Right.
So once you become a single mom and that's it, stay far, far away from them. That's
so in other words, they're on the prowl to look out for a replacement.
So that's one point. And how we help them is that SOROPTIMIST, we will take care of their immediate needs. For example, some of them really do not have any source of income when their husbands leave them, or they leave their abusive husbands. So we will give them financial assistance, we give them rice, we give them oil, money, and then later we will give them training. We will look at each individual cases. For example, if we think that they do have some skills, So we'll give them some microcredit.
Right.
Let them start a business,
Right.
for example, like they can do chendol,
Right.
or something like that.
Okay. And what are some of the immediate issues that they generally face besides having an income? In your experience?
Emotional. They need a lot of counseling. That's where our smart partner LPPKN comes in.
Right.
Okay.
So we have a lot of good counselors. I think Dr. Sarada came in once.
Yes.
She's doing a very good job of actually talking to them and then getting them out from their rut emotionally.
Yeah.
That's very important.
And what about PEMALIK right
Okay.
now? How do you guys support single dads?
Basically, I must get one point clear. We are not just a men's rights group.
Right.
Okay. Out of 3 people who are PEMALIK members, 2 are men.
Right.
And it so happens that these 2 men, they come up with this issue of parental alienation.
Right.
So this is something which was something new. We did not hear about before. So we began to do some research on what is parental alienation, and then we find that this is not a good practice, which is becoming very prevalent, and it's used a lot in custody disputes. Yeah. So as I said earlier, parental alienation is a form of abuse whereby the child is prevented from having association with the non-custodial parent.
Right.
So this puts a lot of stress on the child as well as the non-custodial parent. This is something which needs seriously looking into.
Okay. And what do you think? After doing all that research and looking into this issue, and saying that it's quite prevalent and it's growing trend in modern day, how do you think that you can come to a resolution without creating, more of a mess and creating that greater divide?
Okay, a program like this is very good, where it creates awareness to out there.
So awareness is number one.
Awareness.
Yeah.
And then training and retraining of those parties, who, especially the legal fraternity, the lawyers and the judges. They need to be more sensitive to handling child custody cases.
Right.
They should not just make a decision on awarding custody by just talking to a child for 20 minutes and then make a decision, because this has lifelong implications.
That's right.
Yeah.
So I would prefer engage parties like psychologists and welfare workers to assist.
Nicole, you're a lawyer. What are your thoughts about parenting alienation? Do you think our courts are fair in terms of how they resolve matters when it comes to child custody disputes?
Or more like, do they do enough before the resolution?
Actually, I do agree with Ratna. In fact, they lack a certain empathy because they do not understand. Because Jane Goodall did say that, only if we understand can we care. Only if we care will we help. Only if we help can they be saved. So if the judges, they don't understand, how can they help and care? So this is what's lacking. And in fact, with this current KPI, key performance index that the lawyers are facing, we are talking about numbers and statistics instead of
so they want
every
to get
Friday
it done
is
as soon as possible.
Friday is divorce day. So it's like going 1, 2, 3, 4. It's very mechanical.
I see. Okay. Well, the lawyers and the judges are there to to interpret the law and to give out a judgment. But like Ratna actually mentioned that maybe the people who empathize, who come in or give a professional view on what things are really going on would probably be like psychologists and these professionals. Do the courts actually engage these people to come in just to make it they have a better understanding of the entire situation?
See, may I say something?
Sure.
Here, family courts should be handled in a non-adversarial manner, which means adversarial is where one party wins,
one party loses.
one party loses.
Right.
But here, it's a family court. whereby you cannot make one party lose, because end of the day, it's the children's welfare.
Yeah. Very true.
So it has to be looked at in a wholesome way, and the parties in family courts should take into consideration that those who are warring before them are actually one family at one time. So they should not take a non-adversarial approach in resolving the matters.
Okay.
Do you agree, Nicole?
Yeah.
Yes, I do. Yeah, it cannot be a zero-sum game in family matters.
Yeah.
We actually have very little time left, but right now we understand that you have an interesting case study to share with us.
Yeah, but let me see, what case study is it? If you can.
I am not sure, because if I'm allowed to mention her name.
Okay, all right, then I see. All right, so, as we read the papers, we come across cases. So when we read an abnormal case, and then we try to reach out to that party and find out how we could come in and assist.
Okay.
Because many a time these people are facing their problems all by themselves.
Yeah.
Okay.
So as an NGO and the networks that we have, we can sort of assist them through the ends. So
Okay.
we only do that when we do we question them and we find out that it is really genuine, and then we advise them. We more of an advisory role, but the lawyers take it further.
Right. So besides the two clubs that we have, NGOs that we have today, that's SOROPTIMIST International, there's, for the benefit of those single parents who may be watching, there's, you can seek help from PEMALIK. Who else can they go to? The Inner Wheel clubs?
LPPKN?
Oh, yes, actually LPPKN would be a
good start.
Yeah, very good start, because they have very professionals to counsel.
Yes.
Professionals. So because we are smart partners.
Right.
Because a lot of us are volunteers. So LPPKN is full-time.
I see.
Okay.
But would you say that, for these matters to actually get resolved and actually for people to move on with their lives, is compromise the key word here for people to, again, as we all come back to the notion, it is the well-being of the child or the children that is most important. But we are only human, right?
Yeah.
And we always want to get what we want. But do you think the key is...
Yeah, that would be the goal.
Yeah?
That would be the goal.
Compromise?
Yeah, a compromise would be the goal. But in order to reach to the goal, we need to do work to reach there.
That's right. It doesn't just come and say, okay, and it just happens. It does take a lot of work.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right.
There are lots of laws being passed. Recently, we hear a lot about the Domestic Violence Act.
Yeah.
So, I'm not against. I'm perfectly in support of Domestic Violence Act. If a man is beating up his children and his wife, he should go ahead, put him in the jail. Right? But what about likewise? What about a mother who is preventing access or controlling access of the children to the father? That's also a crime. It's a psychological damage that they're doing to the child, which can be lifelong. So I guess this
that
has
is
to be
the other
looked
side
at.
of the coin.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
Thank you both very much for your
much.
time. And if you'd actually like to seek support from any of these groups, whether it's for legal matters, emotionally, financially, or just to have somebody to talk to, this would be a good place to start. Their website addresses are www.soroptimist.org.my or www.pemalik.org.
Thank you very much, Nicole. Thank you very much, Ratna. On that note, we're going to go and take a break. But when we come back, how the Year of the Dragon may affect careers and employment opportunities.
Will it be